What's up, geeks? My name is Joey, otherwise known as the Iron Cowboy Gunnerlang, and I'm so friggin' excited right now. I cannot tell you how stoked I am. I wasn't recording, was not planning on toy hunting today. I went into GameStop, and obviously can't record in there anyway. Yeah, boo-hoo, we know. But, oh my god. So I went in there to get Mario Kart for my wife as a Valentine's Day gift, because what can I say? I'm a hopeless romantic. And that was it. That was all I was planning to get. And I found a few things. Or no, a few things found me. So I've been raving on the channel a few times at least about trying to find the Batman Future's End Build-A-Figure Batman Beyond figures. And on my last toy hunt with Andrew Love, I had actually by happenstance found one of the figures, the Batwoman Beyond, which I will be doing in this video right now as a review. This will be the opening to a review because it's not a part of a hunt right now. So, anyway, I digress. Anyway, I go in there and just out of habit, I go around, look at the action figures, and Jesus, I see Blight. There's a Blight figure. And then I'm like, oh God, I'll look, maybe I'll keep digging, maybe I'll find more. I found a Lex Luthor figure, which I had to get, but that's besides the point today. And I'm just gonna show you. Look. The other three of the Build-A-Figure figures. Just right there. I never thought I'd see them in person. I thought I'd gonna have to go over the border. I'm not putting this on. I'm legitimately this excited right now. I mean, as long as my wife doesn't find out. But we're not gonna talk about that. Oh God. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead, unbox and review these three plus the Batwoman Beyond right now. Let's go. And so, here from left to right, we have Batman Beyond, Shriek, Batwoman Beyond, and Blight. If you saw my top 10 McFarlane Multiverse figures video, then I don't need to tell you how much of a fan of Batman Beyond I am. But in case you haven't, let's just say I am a huge fan of Batman Beyond. Controversially, he even beats out classic Batman as my favorite Batman. So I'm not going to go too much into that right now. I just want to get into opening these guys up. So obviously I'm going to go in numerical order, which means I'm going to start with Batman Beyond. All right, so there's Batman Beyond. And, there goes a piece of the torso. So we have the torso of the Build-A-Figure for Future's End Batman. You turn his head around and it's the Joker. Got the Brother Eyes logo on there. Future's End, very interesting story, but I digress. Comes with a card, the figure photography card, really cool action pose. I'm actually not going to read the back of this one because Steve already did a Batman. And so here is Batman Beyond and the Build-A-Figure piece for Future's End Batman. Switch his head around and bam, Joker. Created by Brother Eye, hence the Brother Eye logo on there. But I digress. I can maybe get into that more later. And the card with, although we have had a Batman Beyond figure before, so we have another Batman Beyond card. There's another fig photography pose here, which is really cool. I'm actually not going to read the back because Steve already did a full-on review of his Batman Beyond figure. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this right into my card book that I've been using for my McFarlane Multiverse cards. And right off the hop, I'm just going to say I'm actually not a big fan of this particular figure. I know, my Batman Beyond figure made it to number 1 on my top 10. But here's why. It's because, one, we already have a Batman Beyond figure, and this is exactly to a T the same figure. Got the claw hands, comes with a couple of other grip hands, couple of batarangs. Only difference is there is no mouth. That is it. Now, in the Future's End story, I know that there is It's between, I think it's Terry McGinnis and Tim Drake, who are both Batman Beyond at some point or another. So I don't know if you want to say that this one is more closely related to the Tim Drake one. I don't know, probably not. But on the card, it does say Terry McGinnis. So, in my opinion, this figure just took up kind of, I'm going to go ahead and say wasted a space in this Build-A-Figure wave. That could have been used for a figure that we haven't got yet. I'm going to say maybe even like Old Man Batman, like Old Man Bruce Wayne would be great. Robin Beyond, who's appeared in the comics, Tim Drake's younger brother, Matthew McGinnis, could have had a Robin Beyond. There's other characters such as villains like, well, we're getting Ink sort of, but I'll get to that in another time. Point being, there's a lot of figures, a lot of characters that could have been made into a figure for this wave that I just would have much rather seen than this one. I do understand, however, that because Future's End is a heavily Batman Beyond centric story, that they may want to actually have Batman Beyond. But in which case, I do wish that if they were to have Batman Beyond included in this wave, it would have been the other Batman Beyond. Because if I'm going to go out and buy one or the other, I'm definitely going to go out and buy the one that made my number one. So I've gone on about that long enough. I'm going to go ahead and give this figure just a 5 out of 10. It's not a terrible figure because I absolutely love the Batman Beyond figure that I do have. It's just because of all the reasons I mentioned, it does bring it down quite a considerable bit for me. So I'm going to go ahead and move right along to the second figure in the wave. And now one of the figures I am super excited for, was so happy to see come in this wave, is Shriek. I'm just going to say right off the hop that the articulation in this figure, while not the best for articulation, is still impressive for just the shape of it. I mean, if you look, like the hands kind of attached to this armored, like it's just a big hunk of armor it would look like, but they actually made it able to swivel. It's very good. The detail here is incredible. Like almost like not translucent, but like the clarity in these like blue pieces, this sonic wave that it comes with, that as his powers include. And before I go any further into the figure, I am going to show you this. The card, of course, classic figure photography posed. Wouldn't have mind seeing like a comics shot of him, or even from like the classic Batman Beyond animated show. And to look at the back, let's see here if I can get it to focus. Shriek, real name, Walter Shreve. Walter Shreve was a skilled audio engineer living in Neo Gotham, trying to fund his research in the field of sonics. Unable to do so, Shreve used his highly advanced sound technology to build an armored suit capable of demolishing buildings with a sonic blast. Going by the name Shriek, he was soon hired to destroy Batman, and nearly succeeded, but lost his hearing in the ensuing battle. Sorry, it's a little blurry here. He was then sent to Blackgate Penitentiary, where he was able to continue his research behind bars. Since then, Shriek has managed to break out on occasion, each time seeking revenge against Batman and wreaking havoc on the citizens of Neo Gotham. Sorry, that one was a little harder to get through. It's a little blurry there. I'm going to go right ahead in here. One thing I do like about these figure photography shots that they did for this wave is it almost creates a scene. Like maybe like one after the other. Let's see how that unfolds. Yeah, I'm just really excited to see Batman characters from the Batman Beyond mythos getting this action figure treatment that, to my knowledge, haven't gotten it before, or at least haven't gotten it to this extent. So, with all that said, Oh, and we have had the unmasked Shriek available to us in Canada for quite a little bit now, but I seriously just wanted to wait for this. I wasn't as interested in the unmasked version. So, hands down, one of the most exciting finds I've ever had. And for all that, I'm going to give Shriek a 9 out of 10. Solid 9 out of 10 for Shriek. And I'm moving right along to Batwoman Beyond. I was actually really excited. Like I said, I'll say it again. Very excited to see this figure in the line. If you read the Batman Beyond Rebirth title, you will know that she was a more recent, I guess, within the past year, addition to the mythos. As the card will describe it, she is actually the daughter of Dick Grayson, who at the time is mayor of Bloodhaven. Very cool stuff. She comes with the legs for Future State Batman, and I forgot to mention with Shriek, he came with the arms. It's really cool, big edgy arm, metallic, really cool, and this big gun arm. Yep, that. Anywho, so here's the art. So yep, like I thought, it's kind of working in like a sequence, I would suppose. Again, I didn't read. I didn't read into much. I didn't read too much into what the cards looked like for this. I just wanted the figures. So here's some more detail about Batwoman Beyond. Elena Grayson. When Batman, Terry McGinnis, disappears after losing his memory and having his identity stolen by Falseface, Dick Grayson's daughter, Elena, tracks down the Batsuit and takes it for herself. Going against her father's wishes, she then becomes Neo Gotham's newest superhero, but does her best to keep her identity a secret from him. Eventually, her father finds out, but it's too late. The city has a new protector, Batwoman. Yeah. That's that in a nutshell. And there's a spot for that card there. So yeah, it goes from that. Shriek joins in. And then Batwoman flies in. So, yep, one could say that this is basically just Batman Beyond gender bent. Sure. But it's just so cool to have more characters of the Batman Beyond mythos in our figure collections. And this figure is ripped right from the comics. The eyes, and this one doesn't already originally in the comics does not come with a mouth. It's like a different variation of the suit, which I guess perhaps the Batman Beyond that I was kind of harsh with was based on. Has the hair that does not that is not her actual hair. She actually has dark hair, and we do have coming soon in Canada a unmasked Elena Grayson Batwoman Beyond coming out, and she has the dark hair just like her dad. I might pick it up, I might not, but we'll see when it comes. I mean, I'm sure by the time I get there, I'll want to pick it up. But for this figure, I'm going to go ahead and give it another 9 out of 10. Just like Shriek, I was really excited to see this figure. It has a lot of the same. It does have a lot of the same features. Sorry, as Batman Beyond, but that's okay. It's a new character, and that's part of the excitement factor for me is seeing new characters get figures that they either haven't had in a while or have never been seen in the McFarlane line. And now, last but absolutely not least, Blight. Blight came with these crazy ass wings for the Future's End Batman. And may I just say, I have never had to take off so many braces off of a figure before. You know, like little like plastic brace things, like wires that hold the figure pieces in. Literally one on every tendril here. It was ridiculous. Anywho, so like I suspected, creates a whole scene. There's Blight, seems to be joining the fight. Did not mean to rhyme that, but looks like they've all taken league against Batman and Batwoman. And because we've never had a Blight figure in the McFarlane Multiverse line, much like Shriek and Batwoman, I'm really excited to read this to you guys. Sorry again if it's a little slow. My camera is blurry, it seems, and I'm a little far away from it without my glasses. Anywho, real name, Derek Powers. After Bruce Wayne's health began to decline, Derek Powers, the corrupt CEO of Powers Technology, merged his company with Wayne's. With access to new assets, Powers used his vast resources to develop dangerous weapons for the government. After being exposed to one of his deadly chemical agents, Powers attempted to save his own life by experimenting on himself with large amounts of radiation. But the chemical agent's effects coupled with the radiation transforming him into a monster. Now, Powers has become Blight, a radioactive metahuman with glowing, translucent skin and a lethal touch. Sorry, that was hard to get through. And there we have, complete the scene. Nice full square of my book. Maybe I'll give you guys a tour of this book one day. Maybe I have to organize it more. Now, if I have to pick a figure in this wave that I was the most excited to see, it was Blight. Because Blight is, I would believe, in the Batman Beyond mythos, is his biggest bad. He was responsible for the death of Terry McGinnis's dad. Much prior to the incidents leading to him looking like this. Now, he looks very different from how he does in the show, because in the show, it's a fairly simple look, not very complicated. Just a black suit with his glowing, translucent skin, radioactive skin and such, exposed at the head and hands. But in the comics, in the storyline that also has Batwoman Beyond, as features this version of Blight with this new uniform, this new outfit. Shows him using like his powers with this hand. You see his bones through there. That's really awesome. He comes with another hand, but to alternate with this one, but I decided to keep it a closed fist. Or was it, no, actually my mistake. It's a hand to replace this one, but I'm just gonna go ahead and keep this one on here. This head comes right off. So just to get a closer look at it, completely translucent, encased in this thing here. It's really cool in the show because sometimes it just looks like green flames almost. And also you just see his like spine there. It's like a purple plastic spine. Thought that was funny. But I am going to rate this one just a little bit higher than the other figures. I'm going to give this one, Blight, at 9.5 out of 10. Not perfect. You can imagine the sculpt might be just a little bit of reuse with some additions to it being like the trim on like the wiring look, or like the plating on his thighs and boots and shoulders and what have you. But a basic body build, with of course the exceptions of like the head, the hand, and the armor. But yeah, very well deserving of a high rating of 9.5 out of 10. And there we have the Build-A-Figure. I did decide to put it all together off camera because, yeah, it did give me quite a bit of grief. Don't get me wrong, don't let it stop you from collecting this Build-A-Figure yourself. It's just the pieces would be a little too finicky to make for good footage. So, I mean, but just to look at this, check out that wingspan of those tendril wing things. It's massive. Like, look how far apart I had to spread the other figures for my final thoughts. And like how close to the camera the wing gets. Look at that right there. Not too far. Not too far from the camera. If I'm to rate this Build-A-Figure, and like, as far as Build-A-Figures go, it doesn't get too much better than this. I mean, at first I wasn't really all that interested in the Future's End Batman as a Build-A-Figure. I was just excited to have all the Batman Beyond figures here. But now that I have it and I'm looking at it and I've held it in my hands, it's very much worth having hunted these guys down, and much worth the wait. Very unique figure. Not surprised that it's a thing. As anybody who collects Multiverse can tell, Todd McFarlane seems to have a very soft spot for Batman, as there are no shortage whatsoever of Batman figures in the McFarlane Multiverse wave, which is not by any means a complaint, just an observation. So yeah, for this figure, I'm gonna rate it. Oh man, just the look of it. I'm gonna give this Build-A-Figure a solid 10 out of 10. I can't lie. It's, as far as Build-A-Figures go, damn near perfect. Not what I would have picked myself, but clearly if I had picked a figure myself for a Build-A-Figure, I would have missed out greatly on this one. It's very unique, and I'm very glad to have it in my collection. So, with all that said, you can find When Geeks Collide on Facebook by looking up When Geeks Collide, and on Instagram as well. And you can find us on Twitter at WGC Network, and Anchor.fm, also WGC Network, where you will hear people like Steve and Jeff, maybe me sometime, talking about Page to the Screen, History of NSW, Total Van Damage, lots of other stuff. It's really cool content. I've listened to a bit of it, and it's really fun. Go give yourself a listen. Hit up sunsetcrypt.com. That is the mothership. That's where all of this started, and where you can find everything When Geeks Collide and all manner of geekdom. You can look me up on Facebook at Gunnar Lang, Instagram and Twitter at IC_Gunnar Lang, and you can look up my independent comics company, Horizon Comics, with an X, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and right here on YouTube, where I have new content coming out all the time. Right now, I am in the process of revealing some of all 4 of the main antagonists for my new Shadow Puppet comic. I think it's really exciting, and I would love if you guys gave it a look. With all that said, thanks so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what you think of these figures, if you would rate them any higher, and if you've had these yourself, and if you've had any trouble with any of the figures, or how you like to pose them, or literally anything. Speaking of posing, also before I forget, go check out Multiverse Legends, Steve's figure photography page. Very much worth the extra click. So, with all that said, you know what we always say, guys. Geeks out.